Yo, what's up guys, and welcome to episode 11 of the £10 Sorare Road to Glory. So in today's episode, what we're going to do is we're going to have a little look at the investments I made earlier in the week and talk about what did well, what didn't do well, and what can we learn from this week's research. And in every single episode, we do give away £10 Sorare Credit. So in today's episode, the winner is, or yesterday's episode, is Mataja Cossack. Congratulations, you won yourself £10 Sorare Credit. If you'd like to enter today's £10 Sorare Credit giveaway, all you gotta do is leave a like on today's video and comment your Sorare Manager name. And if you guys are interested in signing up to Sorare, there is a referral link down below. Once winning 5 cards on the bidding market, you will get yourself a free tradable limited card. Please do be responsible because of course you can lose money as well as make money. So as always when it comes to research, we have generally put about 2-3 hours into sourcing players, getting the research, and then now doing a bit of analysis. So what I've gone and done is I've got every player, I've got a few side notes, and I've got a few players that I'll bring up and show you the graphs. So this week we did look at investing in 35 different players. The rates was 17% of them went down, 5% of them were the same price as what I bought them at, and 78% of them did go up. Now there is something to bear in mind is that ETH has gone up in price between, I guess, me buying and what they are, or what I would have bought them at. And what they are now, so some of them may have been closer to a break even. So without further ado, let's go through a few of the players. So we'll start off here with a player called Sorare, who had a really high L5 of 72 because he played one game, and as a result had a relatively low of L15 of 53. £1.36, ended up going down in price, even with the rise of ETH. One of the reasons I'd credit this not really working is because, of course, he did only have one score. He's also in a minor league, and he's also a defender. So, you know, there's not really too much going for him with position. So an interesting thing to take into next week is, especially defenders and midfielders that only had one score, were really underwhelming through the whole thing of this. So ideally, we want at least 2 scores. Next person we had was Badger. Badger's one of the players that I actually bought myself. He had a recent score of 84. He had a L5 of 60, an L15 of 46. He played every recent game. Went from £1.50 to £2.57. So as a percentage, that's not too bad. We're looking at like a 60% rise there in a few days. We then go to Tompkins, someone who I thought would work really well. But again, I think it's a little bit of a problem like with some of the previous players. He just hadn't played enough games in a row. Even with a very low of L15 of 34, it just really didn't cut the mustard. I don't think he looked interesting enough. Getting a L5 of 46... you know, an L15 of 34, he just wasn't stand out enough. I believe these players really have to be about 55 to 60 if you're looking at Premier League players. 46, even again, you know, it looks good value for money if you compare the L15 to L5. It wasn't too good. So now head to the first player that we're going to show you guys, and that is the likes of Moya. Moya had a nice little rise, and even when I picked one up myself. So you can see we picked up one here for £2.70, which was actually below kind of like the going rate. So the interesting thing about Moya is the observation on new season and null season, because we actually got a really good deal on our Moya. Managed to get him here for £2.70, and you can see, you know, that was a fair bit kind of below what he was going for here. Well, what's quite interesting is you could have bought a new season one for £3.40, and I imagine this would have been a lot easier to go and do. So you've got one there for £3.40, one there for £3.50, obviously one there for £3.20. So if you can't go and get them at a quote-unquote good price, what you can do is pay a slight premium for the new season ones. Because we can see that even though I got a good deal, the most I could have gone and sold a old season one, because you can see that all these are new season ones, is £3.90. So we made ourselves quote-unquote a £1.20 profit on there. Whereas if we look at the new season ones, even though he's paid 70p more, and he's probably got them a lot easier, he's been able to sell him for about 80p more than I've been able to sell mine for. And that's because a lot of people just like buying the new season cards due to the, I don't know if it's so much the XP boost or if it's just because the cards look a little bit nicer. So if you guys are struggling, let's say, to get a cheap one, sometimes paying a, what's he paying right there? He's paying a, almost a 20 to, no, he's almost paying a 30% premium, 20 to 30% premium there, just to get a new season. Now obviously I don't really do this with the cheap stuff. You're not going to want to pay a 20 to 30% premium on someone that say was a tenner. But yeah, obviously always if you can get the new season ones over the old season ones, and sometimes it's also worth paying a small premium. Then move to a player that I thought had done pretty well, and that was Isaac Kakarilla. Now the players from this team, which I believe is Candice, didn't end up doing quite as well as I thought they would. Mainly I'd credit this due to them playing against Barcelona. There are a few we obviously had from this week, including the striker from earlier, but could have got in quite easily about £3.60. He has had sales for about £4.60. But yeah, didn't do as well as I thought he would. There's a chance that his L15 is a little bit too high with 51. Although, again, he does have really nice, consistent L5s. But I'd probably put this down to matchup. Again, a little bit I've learned about this week is just matchup. Seems to have a fair big of of an impact if people are buying cards, despite thinking that people would honestly just look at the stats and go, well, this guy statistically is playing better without looking at future matchups. But as I say, you learn, it's just the second week we've spent a decent amount of time looking into the investments, and nonetheless, these players are going up. They're just not going up as well as I thought they might. Next player we're going to move to is going to be Gonzalo Escalante, and he's the exact same thing. He plays against Barcelona next game. I thought he'd do quite well because he does have some really nice scores. He's got an 80 back-to-back with a 75. He's got himself 61 L5, 48 L15. Maybe, again, the L15 is a little bit too high. Here's him playing really well. Interesting enough, he actually peaked higher with him playing well than he did otherwise. Then went down here, you can see, for about £5.10. Interesting enough, no one actually managed to get a new season card for cheap. It was all just the old season cards. And then he's really just gone from about £5.11 to the likes of £5.20, £5.20. And these are new season cards. Someone's managed to get a very high sell there. But once again, a decent skill set. I just think them playing against Barcelona just really hasn't worked in their favour. Next person we're going to cover is going to be Vladan Bunbanja. This guy did very well, actually. I believe he was buyable at about £6 here, and we can see, you can very easily see what they're buyable by seeing what the bids end up at, about £6.20. He's all the way up now to £8, so not looking too bad. The reasons I think he did very well is his last 5 scores have all been 60, which is really appetising. Obviously the league isn't too nice. He is under 23, so again he's got multiple competition utility. But yeah, very nice card right here with a L5 to L15 difference in 19. But yeah, main reason he's done quite well, I think, is because of the L5's been nothing but 60 when he's played. We then get to Luke Ayling, a little bit of a different trend right here. Again, we're normally looking for a bit higher of an L5, but because people want to enter that Prem semi-pro, they are taking a bit of a compromise. Now, this didn't work with Tompkins, because I think Tompkins only played 2 out of his last 5 games, but because Ayling's played a lot of his last 5 games, he's done quite well. Now, one of the interesting things about Ayling, which I bring up in other matchups, is they play Everton. And I think them playing against Everton is one of the reasons that Ayling's done pretty well. Now, he's got an okay L5 to L15, but it's it's nothing too crazy. It's a plus 15 on the L5. But again, him playing against Everton is pretty good. And then obviously when they have a very on game, he's getting a score of 70, which is, decent. So I presume people think he's going to get a 70 score because he's playing against Everton. This has allowed his card to go up from, well, the realm of £7 up here to about £9.50 in a few days. And again, he might even continue rising going into Friday because this is being recorded on Thursday. So it turned about earlier about me misbuying cards that were actually playing midweek, but they ended up doing really well. And Rayman's one of them. So when Rayman played, he went from £3.50 up there to £5.30, but then he went down here to about £4.90. Well, going into the midweek, he went from £4.90 all the way up here to £8.90 in like the matter of 2-3 days. Now, he didn't play the next game, which therefore meant he just kind of crashed back down here to around about the £5-6 realm. So you can see there was a pretty decent rise. And again, this was kind of a player that I didn't keep tabs of. Again, keep tabs of this stuff. But it's also very interesting to see that players actually are rising midweek at the moment, because I did this trend a little while ago last year, and the midweek players didn't actually rise, so as a result I didn't really look into them this year. But yeah, if players are playing really well on the weekend and end up having a really nice L5 to L15 ratio, especially if they're a forward, do have a little look if they are playing midweek, because again, it can actually work really nicely in your favour with the pool of players being a lot smaller in midweek. We then move to one of the best performing players, which was like Manuel Witzelmer, and you can tell that just by looking at that L15 to L5 ratio. You've obviously got yourself plus 24 on that for a forward is really nice. Had decisives in his last 2 games. He went down here to the likes of £7, so you can see 4 cards here picked up below £8. At the moment, again, he's not the most bought card in the world, so you could argue it's quite a risky card. But he's gone up from £8 to £11. But another player that's done well, again, forward, and a really nice 24 difference for a forward. I think the L5 of being above 60 is quite relevant as well, because obviously people look for above 60 on a forward because it normally just shows they get a lot of decisives. And that is all she wrote. So this week's research has really taught me, 1, if people only have 1 game in their L5, they're not really a good look. Like, they really haven't done too well. 2, look at the matchups. If someone's playing probably a relegation team, expect them to do a lot better. And then again, if they're playing one of the top teams, at least maybe if it's one of the top name teams, expect them to do a lot, well, suppressed on what they normally can do. As always, top 5 leagues is working really well. L5 above 60 is working really, really well. L15 below 45, if possible below 40, can work really well. And also we've learned this time not really to experiment with the formula too much. Obviously it's quite good to experiment to learn, but you know, we've tried a few players in this episode where we looked at an L5 of 42 and an L5 of 35, and that just didn't work because they don't stand out enough. Again, a bit like Tompkins and a bit like that striker, they just don't stand out enough because they don't have an L5 55 or above, or 60 and above. So do try and keep the L5 as high as possible. So that has been my roundup of investing. Now what we're going to do is just show you guys a bunch of cards I've sold. I don't think I've bought too much as of recently, but we've sold on some investments and some trades we managed to get. So we have been on an absolute selling frenzy. Because we haven't really done much trading as of recently because I've kind of been preparing to go away on a little trip this weekend. So we've kind of been selling, but no buying. But it just means when we're back with the episodes as of next Tuesday, we're going to have loads and loads of trading, so we've got a massive kitty to work with. So let's go and show you guys some of the cards we managed to sell. So we start right here with Ejai, who we went and picked up for the likes of 40p, who we sold for 76p. We then head to Sean Nakamura, who we picked up for 25p, flipped for 76p. Then go to Sean Kelly, who we went and picked up for 37p and sold for 89p. Then head to Ibrahim Sissoko, who we traded 2 of our FICE for. We did sell him for 30p less, but that's still equal to what I would have sold both my FICE for. This guy is pretty ropey, I'm not going to lie. We did anticipate selling for £3. We bought him for £2.06, sold him there for £1.44. For some reason there was this hype and it just completely died off, but you know, that can just happen when you're not going to spend loads of time researching the players. Then get Alex Vidal, who we picked up for 25p and flipped there for 53p. Then we got Lee Won-Woo, who we picked up here for 55p and sold for double for £1.18. We then get Justin McAllister, picked up here for 13p, sold there for 53p. Then one of our biggest buys, Anandi Polo, picked up there for £4.95, flipped there for £9.13, so made a nice little £4 profit there. Jeontion Min, a player I bought right at the beginning of the series, picked up for 40p and just managed to sell on for 83p. Apparently this guy's picking up all of them. Then we got a Mathieu Azzaloni we bought only just the other day for 86p, flipped there for £1.53. Then we got ourselves a Joel Nubel, who we picked up just the other day for £1.80, flipped there for £3.35. Then we got a Jonas Badger, one of our investments, who we picked up here for £1.50 and sold him there for £2.57. And then we got ourselves a James Tompkins, who we picked up for £2.40, and again, he didn't do too well, but £2.57. Which has now left us with a total kitty to work with £35.68. So we've already surpassed £25 worth of our starting budget to now trade with, so loads and loads of capital to work with. On top of that, I do have a few investments to go and sell on, as in we do plan on selling on the Moya, and we do plan on selling on, who else do we have? Then we got the striker. If I've not already sold, have I sold? Oh, there you go. And we got the striker, and we got that guy. So another £5, so we'll be on about 40 quid to trade with as of the episodes on Tuesday. So I am away for the weekend, so I do apologise for the lack of uploads, but we will be back roaring away with the trading as of Monday. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in maybe 3 days with a brand new episode.